Chris Brown's recent actions online further proves the point of why we did not want him doing a single with Chloe from the very beginning. Period.
Y'all already know what time it is. I got the black V-neck on.
So what's going on, you all? We have to talk about Chris Brown and Chloe. They have a new single coming out sometime next month called In Pieces. And Chloe announced it on Twitter, social media, and her fans was like, no, like, girl, anybody but Chris Brown. They were eating her up in the quote tweets. They was like, no ma'am, not interested. Like, Chloe, want to support you, but I can't support this, not this. They were dragging it. Now, some folks responded and said, hey, this is Twitter. Chris Brown is going to give her a hit, da-da-da-da, like, you know, F what the people say. You know, girl, do what you got to do, da-da-da-da. But Chloe needs to understand that her main audience, the folks who are going to support her and really like check out her music no matter what, no matter who is, you know, how, if it's good or if it's bad, her core audience are folks with strong politics and that's like do not want to support abusers. Like, these are folks in their young 20s and they're just like, hey girl, like, we've seen R. Kelly, we've seen the history of hip hop and all the abuses and stuff. I don't want to support anybody who's supporting these type of people, point blank, period. There are people who just like, I can't separate the music from the person. Like, I don't. Like, a lot of people don't want to do that. I don't want to do that too. I don't want to do that. Like, hey, I choose not to support this person. And artists need to understand, and not just artists, celebrities need to understand that people don't owe you anything. They don't owe you shit. Like, we don't owe you anything. Like, Chris Brown right now is online to myself. I did this 20 years ago. I don't know why y'all talking about this. This was so long ago. Like, he's going off. He's spiraling. He's pissed off. Like, celebrities be trying to act like they're above the drama, but they be online checking any and everything that goes on. Even when they're not active, they're online searching, looking at stuff on fake accounts. Like, Chris Brown saw the conversation about him. They thought he was eating Chloe up. Now, it is messed up that Chloe was getting chewed up because Chloe didn't do any of that. Like, the Bailey sisters actually been getting all the lashes for, you know, their relations with men and stuff, but we're gonna talk about that. People just don't want to support it, just like, hey, just not interested. They're not saying they're not gonna support Chloe. They're just saying, hey, I'm not interested in a single with Chris Brown. It might get radio play. It might do pretty decent on the radio or whatever. But if it alienates a whole fan base that supports, what difference does it make? Like, girl, this is like me speaking just real stuff. Like, you have to understand that you have a core audience, that people who are going to support you if the music is mediocre or whatever, they're going to support. This is your loyal fan base. I look at the people who are on my Patreon, like supporting my Patreon and stuff. These are my audience. They're like, hey, we just like Justin, da 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 da. If I alienate these people by doing some content that's going to get me like, you know, 10,000 subscribers or stuff in the next month and stuff, what happens when that trend dies? Like, let's say I do a video or something that alienates my core audience, and like, what happens 2 months from now when the trendy people are not watching, they're only watching the big content. You can do content and stuff that gets you a lot of subscribers and a lot of views and stuff, but it's like those core audience continuously have your stuff like a certain rate. And you cannot alienate that fan base. These are the people who are going to rock with you. Yes, she might get a hit, but also, is the hit worth it when you're working with somebody who has been as trash as a Chris Brown has? Chris Brown has not changed at all. He's not. He's really shown us over and over again that he has not grown. Like, there's stuff that's happening with Chris Brown that's been like documented even now. Like, even now how he's acted online and responding to the criticism. He just got through like clapping back at Kiely because Kiely called him out, was just like, hey, like, you know, Chris Brown uses black female artists to, you know, to boost himself up or whatever. Like, she was just giving her commentary like a lot of folks, but he felt the need to drag her and make fun of her lisp and stuff. Now, that's a running joke about Kiely Williams and her promises joke. It's like, even she laughs at it and stuff. Like, I think social media is kind of like liking her a little bit. And we're just not here for a raging misogynist like Chris Brown. ganging up on this woman who was just out here just stating the truth that Chris Brown does do this. There's been conversations of Chris Brown not letting dark-skinned women in his sections at the club, like Tokyo Vanity or whatever her name is, talked about it in the video. She said her homegirl tried to get in the section with Chris Brown or whatever, and like whatever thing that was going on, and all her light-skinned friends got in, but not the dark-skinned girl. Chris Brown is a colorist, like girl, like everybody he's dated, like even his baby mama is light-skinned. Like a lot of these men are full-blown colorists. And for Chris Brown to begin online, like clapping back at this girl, and now posting screenshots of all the white folks who have been called out for abuse. Like he put up a whole article of all like celebrities who've been accused of domestic violence or have domestic violence charges. The whole article got all these white folks in it, and it also has Chris Brown in it, and he skipped over it. Like, girl, what are you saying? Are you saying that it shouldn't matter because, you know, white folks get away with it? That is so low for you to believe that, oh, if white people get away with it, I should be able to get away with it. That's not how it works, especially when you are harming another black person. Like, girl, you're harming somebody in our community. How does that help us? And this is why I'm not interested in the black excellence stuff, because black excellence allows stuff like this to happen because, oh, well, we got to support blackness. We got to support blackness. And this is what happens. Like a person like Chris Brown can sit here and say, well, girl, I'm out here doing stuff for the community. Yes, but you are also abusing black folks. You're abusing black women. So why would we sit here and boast you up and uplift you and stuff when you're out here stepping on other black people to get where you are at? It just doesn't make any sense. So now Chris Brown is clapping back, and he's going all off on the tangent and stuff and posting screenshots and stuff of, you know, domestic violence charges on people who are white. And it's just like, if you're trying to prove a point that you have grown from this and whatever, why would you bring up other folks who've been charged with, like, it just doesn't make any sense. And no, I do not care if Rihanna did forgive him or like accept his apology. That doesn't have anything to do with me. I don't have to support him. Like, celebrities, like, egos are so big that they really believe that once we're supposed to always support you no matter what. Like, y'all are holding this against me. We don't have to support. Like, this notion that you're supposed to always be on top of something like we're supposed to doesn't make any sense. Like, y'all need to separate yourselves from this. It's not making no sense to me. Like, you're mad because folks like, hey, you know what? Chris Brown did that to Rihanna. I'm not interested in supporting him anymore. Now you're pissed off. Like, girl, you're not deserving of folks supporting you. Like, this is a gift, and you should do what you can with it to keep it. And people choose not to support you no more for said reasons. They have every right to do that. They don't have an obligation to keep supporting you. People don't have an obligation to continue to support me after I've said anything. They don't have this obligation. I'm thankful that there are thousands of people who are interested in my content, interested in like just supporting me. But I don't ever look at them like this is something I'm supposed to get. Like, I'm not mad when people unsubscribe or unfollow, whatever. Like, this is a gift that they are giving me to support me. They don't have to do any of this. People don't have to support Chris Brown or any other artist they don't like. It's just is what it is, and I need celebrities to understand that. Like, y'all want to talk about cancel culture. When are rappers or black male artists being held accountable for abuse when we just got the Grammys just named an award after an abuser by the name of Dr. Dre? Like, what do you mean? Y'all have been making it. You've been made it. Like, Chris Brown, you're still able to go out on like sold out tours and stuff. People are still supporting you. You just want everybody to support you. You don't like any type of criticism, and you get angry. Like, the folks who get like angry and start lashing out after they get criticized are very interesting to me, which shows me they never have grown. We've seen the same thing with the colorist conversation with Tariq Ali when he was lashing out on Twitter and stuff. Every time folks like get called out for something they have done or whatever, they start lashing out. It's just like, how are y'all showing us that y'all have grown when the first thing y'all are doing is lashing out and going off? Sit with that. Like, people had to experience that. Like, people had to see their artists like be like abused, like saw pictures and stuff of Rihanna, all that, like that was damaging to a lot of people. It was surreal for folks, for survivors. I've lost an aunt who was like practically my sister to domestic violence. Like, I take that very serious, and people do take that serious. Yes, there's a Chris Brown song that might play on my TV, or I might listen to one of his songs every once in a while, but I'm not actively engaged in supporting Chris Brown. I'm not going to a concert with Chris Brown. If one of my favorite artists has Chris Brown headlining or like coming out or whatever, I'm not coming to see them. I'm just not doing that. And people can choose to do that. Like, and honestly, Chris Brown, you're not really that talented to be doing all of this, to be honest. You're not that girl, like, to be doing all of this. Girl, you've been making the same songs for like the last 10 years, to be honest. One of my mutuals posted a tweet about Chloe's label on Twitter, and I screamed. He made a mention. Shout out to you, Jordan. Jordan has said, it seemed like that Chloe's label is trying to market towards the Shade Room followers and commenters. I scream because that's what it's giving. That's what it's giving, to be honest. Raging misogynists, like folks who just like don't believe in survivors, don't want to support survivors, want survivors to come forward and tell their story. Why you wait 10, 15 years to tell it? Look how y'all responding now. Someone who's literally had a history of abuse for said years, y'all are out here defending him. Like, I had to block somebody today who said this is Chris Brown supremacy. Like, I'm a support no matter what. Blocked. Girl, don't tweet me about that. Don't tweet me. Don't tweet me no mess like that. But like, that is what's going on. Like, y'all want survivors to come forward and tell y'all, hey, this happened to me, and this is how y'all respond. This is how easy y'all dismiss it because y'all want the same bubblegum song that he be playing. I don't get it. I want the best for Chloe. I want Chloe to like do good. I want her to like, you know, I want for my girl. I really do. I don't think this was a good idea. I think it alienates her fan base, her core audience that she needs to keep growing. You can't be you can't want to hit so bad that you're going to piss off your audience. Like, even from a brand perspective, I don't think this was the best decision. I think that Chloe should have, I think it would have probably been all right to probably have him on the album. At the very least, it could have been, hey, you know, I have to work with him. It's already in the contract. Maybe some mess like that. But the single, I don't want to put all this on Chloe, to be honest. Because that is misogyny too, to be expecting more of her than the person who actually, you know, done the harm. But I just think that this was a choice for Chloe. And it makes me think about some of y'all politics and stuff, because we have people like Kelly Rowland a couple of months ago was defending him not too long ago, while he was getting booed. Like, people were saying, oh, this is only on Twitter. He was literally booed at an award show. Like, there's a lot of folks who just not here for Chris Brown. That just is what it is. Like, that just is what it is. And people don't look like some folks don't want to support him. He's still able to make a living. He's still able to throw parties at like these big mansions and stuff. Like, he still has a nice income coming in, but a lot of folks just don't want to see him perform, and that's okay. Sometimes you don't get that back. Like, sometimes you don't, but I think Chris Brown, if he was focused more on healing and getting better instead of the world forgetting the harm that he done to Rihanna and other victims, he would be in a much better place. But he doesn't seem to be. He's not changed. He's still the same person, the same person that is very angry and inside. Like, sometimes folks don't change. He has not changed. Like, this man is still like the enraged person that he was when he did that stuff to Rihanna. Like, he's still that. You can see that, or how he's acting, like the jokes and the comments he's making. Like, girl, like over and over again. Like, girl, what's the name had to, what is the model name? Tyson Beckford had to call him out not too long ago, and like did an interview talking about like Chris Brown has a history of just lashing out, being so violent and so angry. And it's just like, we don't want to support that. And Chloe needs to figure it out. Now, Parkwood, you know, folks saying, well, why Beyonce and Parkwood's team? And I'm like, Beyonce ain't 100% making decisions behind Chloe and all the other stuff. It's a whole team and stuff. But I don't think that they probably have an issue with it, to be honest. Like, I don't know. Like, it just seems very weird. Parkwood posted it on their Instagram. I think somebody shared it like, girl, like, I don't know. I just want better for my girl. I want better for Chloe. I just don't think this is the best right now. And Chloe, like, to be honest, you can see that, like, Chris Brown could have just, honestly, if this was not that important, Chris Brown should have just ignored it. He could have just not said anything. He could have just not said anything. And I guarantee you, to some degree, it would have probably, like, toned down, because folks were not going to talk about this more than 2 or 3 days. It would have eventually blown over. There have been some folks like, hey, I'm not supporting that, da 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 da. But the fact that Chris Brown is now out here like commenting and responding, it's another conversation. I've had to do a video about it. Like, it's like furthering out. Like, we will be talking about this, and to the lead up, we're not even talking about the anticipation of the song or the music anymore. We're spending so much time talking about Chris Brown now responding to it. It's article after article. Like, it's an article, oh, Chloe's doing a song with Chris Brown. Now Chris Brown claps back. What's name claps back? It's a continue on story. And now this is the stuff that's leading up to the single. This is why you should have never chose him from the very beginning. Like, this is why. Because he was just going to do this regardless. Like, Chris Brown, I don't know why he feels like that people are not allowed to call him out for this stuff. He acts as though it's really hurting his career. Like, no abusers in music and hip hop have been held accountable to a wide extent. A lot of y'all are getting away with a lot of stuff. Y'all have done trash stuff throughout your whole entire careers and never been held accountable. Look how long it took for R. Kelly to get some accountability. Like, girl, after all the harm he has done over the course of his career. So a lot of y'all doing the same stuff. Like, a lot of y'all doing the same stuff, and for a black man to sit up here and say, well, all the white folks done it, and da-da-da. White people are not my barometer. They are not my what's name for what is good. They are, like, I don't think of, you know, what they get. I don't think about that. If you're causing harm to another black person or another soul or a human point blank period, especially a black person, I just can't help you. I just can't help you, and we don't have to support you. Our support to you is not always guaranteed. And I think a lot of artists and celebrities take advantage of that. Like, people do not have to support. Like, the thing is, you put out good music, good projects, good whatever. We like it, we support it, but we don't have to do that. We don't have to do that. The fact that a lot of us are going through, like, real bad socioeconomic stuff right now, like how expensive it is, inflation is affecting a lot of us, and the fact that we're still out here trying to support artists and stuff just to get away. And that y'all come out and say stuff like this. Like, y'all come out and be upset when folks like, hey girl, we don't want to support Chris Brown. I don't want to spend my last $20 to get away and be supporting someone who is abusive, not just to like black women, but to folks online, like has a pattern of harassment and stuff, repeated harassment throughout their career. I just don't want to do that. And artists and stuff like Chris Brown need to understand that. So yes, I don't think there's nothing wrong with folks criticizing Chris Brown. I know some folks, you know, unfortunately might be able to separate, you know, the artist from the music and stuff. I literally had to like turn somebody down who said that they still want to listen to R. Kelly. Not in my house, and I don't want to have a conversation about somebody who is defending R. Kelly. I just don't want to be around somebody who is like making points to defend R. Kelly and the reason why they play their music. Like, do what you do, you just won't be doing it in my house, and I don't want to have a conversation about that. But that's all I got. Let me know what you thought about the whole situation and the whole conversation on my comments, and I'll talk y'all later. Bye.